Are we on?
We're rolling.
We're rolling. All right, the Artie Quitter podcast. This guy I talked to on the phone a month ago, and I was really excited because I really have been a huge fan of his acting work. And he's one of those guys who just takes over the movie when you see it, the look on his face, you're like, wow, something's going to happen. And it's either really good or really bad. There's no in between. I got a feeling his life has been like that too. But Robert Davi, what's up, buddy?
Hey, brother. Great to finally meet you.
You're in the condo now. You're on the phone,
Great.
and you keep your promises, man. You said you were going to come.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to be here. And what a view you got here.
I got a direct view to the city.
This is not even this is more than a view. This is a vista. There's a view. People have views.
Yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I mean? It's like this is a fucking 360 vista.
It really, yeah.
The
You know,
Manhattan skyline. It's incredible.
my realtor said, is begging me. They said, you have the crown jewel, buddy. I just told Robert the story about how I got the place off the air, which I probably could tell about 3 seconds on the air. But, I don't tell everybody that story. Not everybody appreciates that story I told you. But let's just say it was very Jersey-esque way I got it.
It was ordained.
It's a Sopranos episode. But if you could literally say without getting sued, this is arguably the best view of New York City in the world.
It's incredible.
So I may say that. I'm gonna.
Yeah, I've been in the city,
Right.
and penthouse apartments that you see the tops of 4 buildings.
Yeah, well, that's
This
the problem.
This here you're seeing. I mean, it's just you got the what is this? The Hudson.
There's the Hudson, sure.
The
yeah.
Hudson River. You got the whole skyline of the Manhattan. You got to sit out here with a cigar, looking at that, going.
I do.
You know what? Look at this. Eh?
When I was younger, when I bought this place, I was just out of my 20s. I was 30 years old. I got the job on Stern, and I was, running around. And
What does that mean? You gave me
well,
the eyebrow. I was running around.
there was nothing I didn't partake in.
The audience doesn't see that.
There's nothing someone could have, after 2 drinks, someone could have said, "Oh, you want to run guns to Cuba? Sure, let's do it." Oh, do you want to start a human trafficking ring? Yeah, I'll see you at 10 o'clock. Anything bad. But I got the job on Howard, and again, in this area, the job I got on the Stern Show, I was co-hosting the Howard Stern Show, and my father would have thought the same thing if he was stayed around. If you waited to fall off the roof about 10 years later, you knew it was coming. It's better where I'm from than becoming a U.S. Senator, the job I got. I mean, literally, my father would have been less proud if I was a senator. Sort of the chicks around here, that's how they're raised by people with those values. And this place is a closer. We'll be clear.
It's a closer.
I would
I'm
get
sure.
the chicks out. I was about 80 pounds lighter.
Couple of candles. Right?
Listen, I would let's dice. I would throw a cheeseburger down their throat. No, I would take the chicks out of the bars over here, and I'd say like after party, that big thing, and they'd come here and just forget about it. This was like a panty dropper.
Yeah, that's it.
Then they
You
wake
go
up
out on this terrace and forget about it.
Well, yeah.
Have you ever done it on the terrace?
Yes.
Overlooking the Manhattan.
Absolutely.
Going.
I've given a lot of chicks would call that. The probably chicks have nightmares looking at those railings. 4 of the worst seconds of their life, like in therapy. The railing. Oh! I dated one crazy broad, Italian chick. We were coming back from Yankee Stadium. I lost $40,000 on the Yankees, Marlins.
Jesus.
Game 2 of the 03 series.
Do you still do that?
Not
You
no.
gave that- not as
Bet on
much?
the Yankees. Not as much. That was something. That was something I was able to get rid of in a good way. I didn't need to chase it, but there were times where that was the worst vice because it led to everything else. Just one bet.
okay.
Yeah.
Right.
But no, and we were coming home from the stadium. It's 2:00 in the morning in the South Bronx, and when there's not a Yankee game, it's just the South Bronx. And I didn't realize where we were, and I said, "Could you, if I stop, could you run and get me cigarettes?" And because I was so aggravated, and she thought it was rude that I asked her to get cigarettes to her. And I said, "Oh wait, I forget. I'm sorry." She gets all mad at me. Within 4 seconds, a shouting match just escalated.
And had you been going out with her for a while? Or
Yeah,
is this
about 2
something-
years. Yeah, this was like a.
And because you said I wanted cigarettes.
Well, it was in the South Bronx, and at 2 a.m., and she thought that was disrespectful. I said, "I just lost $40,000. I don't know where we are. I'm sorry." And please. One time from Vegas, a true story. She wanted her and her mother.
Same girl.
Yeah, same girl. Be a wonderful woman. There's
How long did you partake?
5 years.
5 years.
5 years we're together, and she, women and gambling. She said I was going to Vegas to do Super Bowl Eve stand up, which I got paid very well for, and I always put bets on the game. and I had a bad gambling issue. And she said, please, me and my mother want to put in a real life bet on the game. So I explained to her what the under-over was, and she goes, oh, we want to bet the over. I go, okay. I call her from Vegas, which she asked me to do. I go, okay, what's the bet? She goes, we want $50 on the over. Now, of course, I'm not even going to put it in. I'm like, it's embarrassing. I'm like, okay, $50 on the over. You got it, sweetie. We'll root for you. Okay. And she goes, what do you have? We want to root for you. And very calmly, I said, I have $30,000 in the under. I go, what do you think's going to benefit you more? And, of course, the over came in.
Did you have to pay her?
Believe me. I said, do not ask for the $50. I said, if you ask for the $50, it's going to be very... We're not going to.
Because you lost the 30.
We're not going to be together anymore. Yeah, I was down 30 grand.
Oh my God! Maybe you should have listened to this chick.
Well, let me tell you, I should have listened to everybody. I listen. The one weekend in Vegas, I did stand-up Super Bowl Eve at the Mandalay Bay. I made $140,000. I got 60 grand for 2 shows and 20 grand to sit at that dumb club and say on Howard Stern show, I'm at Jet at Mandalay Bay, whatever. I listened to stupid music for 2 hours. And they got me this young blonde, looked like a young Heather Locklear hooker. She wasn't even wearing shoes. She had socks on walking through the club. I said, well, where are your socks? In Puff Daddy's room?
Did you have pretty feet?
She had socks on.
Well, you never got the socks off?
I said, don't worry about the socks.
I would have had those socks off within 10 seconds. I would have said, get rid of the socks.
I didn't take my socks off. So 140,000. I did
140.
The math on the way home, on the plane. I was down $5 grand for the weekend. I lost 100 between spending, gambling, $145,000. Yeah. So I went to I was suicidal. I went to my account. He thought he was going to get a check for 140 grand. I said, actually, I need $5K.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was,
That's.
I worked. I'm not.
Have you hit though? Had you hit sometimes that kept you going?
Absolutely,
right?
that's what it is.
You get hit. Yeah.
I
just when you thought you got out, they pull you back.
Well, exactly. I mean, look, I'm not a good businessman. I got money from just breaking my ass. When I started making good money, that kind of money with stand-up, I just booked everything I could book. But I overextended myself. I got addicted to the money. They were offering me more money than my father remained a year to go to St. Louis and tell dick jokes for an hour. I'm going to say no.
Right.
The problem was when I was nocturnal during the weekend, I came back and I had a fucking paper route. I got up at 4:30 in the morning.
No.
For Stern, 6 a.m. I had to be there.
Right. That's
and
right.
The last guy was
Did you
there.
love getting there that early?
Oh, well, listen,
Yeah.
there was the only part that felt like work. The rest was just like being in 3rd grade throwing spitballs. I couldn't believe what I was doing for a living. I just, I won a bet on this rock star, and he was dating Carmen Electra, and he said, if you beat me in this ring toss we were doing, he goes, you beat me, you could squeeze Carmen's tits on the air. I go, okay. I beat him easy. He's like, he's a feminine rock star, so anything athletic, I'm going to beat you. And I squeezed her tits. I got 30 voicemails from friends I went to high school with. They were all on their way to build a deck in Newark and an addition. And I think what I should be doing, I'm squeezing Carl. Dude, fuck you. You were dumber than me in high school. What happened?
How did it happen? Why did you get there?
I said I took a shot. I rolled the dice. We grew up 8 miles from New York. What the fuck were you doing? I went here.
That's the truth.
I got on stage.
That's the truth. What was your first?
I got
impulse.
Isn't it
First impulse.
It's amazing that you asked this because yesterday is the anniversary, July 12th, 1987. The anniversary of the first time I ever tried stand-up.
July 12th,
29 years ago, at a place maybe you knew, maybe went to every once in a while, the original Improv on 9th and 44.
Oh, absolutely.
Danny
was Chris
Aiello,
Albrecht then?
I'll say it again.
Chris Albrecht, was he there?
Yeah,
then?
absolutely. Chris, yeah, I knew.
I went to college with Chris.
Well, he's the HBO guy.
No,
yeah,
I mean after. Now he's stars.
Right. I never met him, but his name was always thrown around there. And Danny Aiello, before my time, was the bouncer. And it was a big deal. So I went there at 19 years old, and I had nothing else going on. And yesterday was the 29th anniversary.
But what made you even go there?
You know what?
Like, where did it start?
Nothing else to do.
Did you know as a kid?
Yes.
Okay, so you were watching whatever it was.
I got to tell you, I grew up in this area. 7 o'clock at night and 7:30 at night on Channel 11 PX in New York, Odd Couple, Honeymooners. 11:30 at night, Odd Couple, Honeymooners. Right. Then I'd watch the Tonight Show, and then I remember that Abbott and Costello television show was on every Sunday. At 11:30 to 1, Abbott and Costello movie, Meet the Killer, and I watched them religiously. I couldn't get enough, and I was hooked at that thing. But I also love baseball, and I wanted to play shortstop for the Yankees till I was 13, and I knew that wasn't going to happen. So I just 13 years old. I wanted
and Jackie Gleason was a big influence.
Oh, I loved them, man.
You should do a remake of The Honeymooners.
I would love to.
Why did you do that?
I don't know.
Get your Art Carney.
I think I do a disservice.
No, modern day, no.
Didn't Art Carney was supposed to be a bigger booze hound than Gleason, remember? You hear the stories like, you had to pull him out of bars in Times Square.
Yeah, that I didn't know. I didn't know that he was. I knew that Jackie Gleason was.
Yeah.
I met him a couple of times, Jackie.
What was that like?
Well, he was a gentleman's gentleman.
Yeah, that's great.
He had the
old school guy,
flower in the lapel.
Boutonniere, right? Yeah.
Boutonniere in there, and he had, the coiffed mustache.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just very elegant. Hello, how are you?
What were the circumstances for meeting him? Did you work with him?
No, the first time was at P.F. Chang's in Westwood.
Hong Kong Gardens.
All right. He was sitting there with his wife or somebody.
Right. Jane Meadows, she was married forever, right?
And I saw him with, not with her. He was sitting with his, somebody else.
Oh, okay. Go on.
Yeah. But
Maybe.
there I saw him, and he was with somebody.
Right.
And I said, I got to meet Jackie. I was with another friend of mine.
Right.
And this was when I first got out to L.A. I said,
what year?
This is early 80s.
Okay.
Very early 80s.
Yeah, so, okay, wow.
And I met him there for the first time, and it was,
Well, if you remember, he had a resurgence because Smokey and the Bandit movies were big. And so
that was late 70s.
Right, a whole new generation, they did sequels, liked him again. He's amazing in that.
Yeah, but I loved him when he was at The Honeymooners. And what a great band leader.
Nothing better. Right, yeah.
His band leading was incredible.
Well, there's all these. I never wanted to be like. First of all, I was always thin, but when I gained weight, I didn't want to be typecast. But I said, I don't want to be like these sad clowns. Like Gleason was a guy who was fat, but he knew how to live. Like there was nothing. Like he had it in control. Coolest guy in the room.
You know? I remember. I think it was Ben Gazzara. I did a film with Ben Gazzara.
Yeah.
In Budapest.
Wow.
And he said to me, he goes, would you like to go to Vienna for the weekend? We'll take the girls and go to Vienna.
What a great, that's how you know you made it. That's great.
All right.
Who's asking you that? That's fantastic.
I says, that sounds like fun. He goes, oh, that'd be good. He goes,
that'd be good.
That'd be good. No, but then he tells me a story. He goes,
that's amazing.
He was doing something with the great Al Pacino, who
right.
I love and who I know.
Right.
But he had said something like, yes, I like expansive. Al's not too expansive. He doesn't really like to go to Vienna.
Gazzara's he's like a worldly guy like that. He speaks that way.
Yeah, Ben Gazzara was
expansive.
Expansive. I like this.
Al's not too expansive.
That you know what I mean? And it was just so funny because
it's great.
He is. I mean, if you know Al.
Well, what does he mean by that expansive? Like
I don't know what.
Because I'm not a guy.
I'm not either.
I pretend to know shit.
Yeah, but I don't know. But expansive in Ben Gazzara's vocabulary. Let's go to Vienna for the weekend.
I love that. Well, that's what I mean. If you don't leave your hometown, you're not going to meet a guy who ever tells you want to go to Vienna for the weekend.
Right.
Like the fact that someone asks you that question means I did it. I got the fuck out.
Right. I mean, here we're sitting at a hotel in Budapest.
Oh, I know.
And out of the blue, let's go to Vienna for the weekend.
Great.
Take the girls.
Take the girls. Usually, when I grew up, if I stayed in my hometown, I'd be like, the girls want Dunkin' Donuts. Are you gonna get it? Are you gonna pick it up? Should I do it? Should I get the bread at Calandra's?
Right.
Because I'm gonna fight with that guy. I just gotta get it. Dan, I need a paper towel. Where's the paper towel?
You did your first thing. You did your
at 19.
At 19,
bombed miserably.
Now, did you write it out, or did you just go up? Did you know what you wanted to do?
I said to myself, well, here's what happened. I said, what I want to do is, thanks. I want to at least say to myself, I had the balls to do it for the first time, because I had been wanting to do it since I was 17, because I barely got out of high school, and I wasn't going to college. And I said, for 2 years I was procrastinating, and then my old man fell off a roof working. Yeah. And it was just, let me just get this. And, this is how I do this, but I do it like I do stand-up.
Go ahead, do it.
But my father becomes a quadriplegic. Terrible. Armageddon for our family. And I become the man of the house. And I said to myself, look, I had connections who could get me a job at the port as a longshoreman, which I did for 2 years. But I said to my mother, like the strongest woman I've ever known, my father's laying there. He fell off a roof. If I told you this in the other show, I apologize. So we talked about each other's lives for a while, but let me know because
No. Go ahead.
I mean, it's deep shit, but it's, you know, I've said this in my book and group therapy. I don't want to bore people, but it was crazy. He fell off a roof with no homeowners insurance, so you couldn't sue the guy. The guy was an older man. He had $200,000 to his name. That's what he saved, and he was retired. So the lawyers smell blood. If there's a guy who's a quadriplegic, a jury will award them something, whether it's their fault or not. And my father put the ladder on a picnic table to get to the peak of the house. You know, it was his fault, but they said, look, we could get the guy's $200,000. His life savings. The lawyer didn't even bat an eye. My mother, much to her credit, said, I'm not doing that. I can't take the guy's money.
Yeah, there were people that wouldn't sue back then.
My mother was like, I'm not doing that. And the lawyer didn't even understand, really? She's like, this is life savings. The guy had kids that were going to get it. And she's like, that kind of karma, I'd rather take care of myself. And which she ended up doing anyway. The guy goes, okay, we got one last thing. The ladder company. We'll sue the ladder company. We can do that. I go, okay. My father calls me like he couldn't move. He's like he's in the meeting and then he goes, come here. He whispers something in my ear and I go, okay. I go, well, we can't do that. The guy goes, why? He goes, he stole the ladder.
No. God. Your father says that to you.
Guy goes, my father goes, come here. What? I stole the fucking ladder. Get him out of here.
Oh God.
Yeah, so the ladder said Bell Atlantic on the side of it.
Oh, shit.
You're talking about karma. And the guy was working on a building, Sears in Roebuck on Route 22. And the ladder was up there. My father sees it, grabs it, just takes it. And I said to my dad, how do you think the guy got down? He goes, oh, there was stairs. He probably went the other way.
Isn't that amazing, though? I mean,
It is. It's again, it's where I grew up. It's my dad. You know, he got to like the 9th grade, and that's how I grew up. And so we had to go on welfare. This was like my mother's a proud Italian woman, and my father was a proud guy, but he was fucked. He couldn't move. His biggest nightmare happened. He goes, if I fall off a roof, I'll die. You get the insurance. He didn't die. You know, and he thought, God's getting him back, all this shit. I'm like, you've been an atheist your whole fucking life. Now you believe God is punishing you. And my mother didn't know what to do, so she got a job as a secretary, and I started working, but, you know, I was a fuck-up. I had every vice on the planet. So he died about 4 years later, and we found out he killed himself. He asked me to kill him every day. He goes, just. I go, I'm going to get arrested. You know, you want me to be in a joint? Because you're quite frankly, it was an afterlife. When I see you, it's going to be trouble.
he said that to you?
I said it to him. I said, right. And but then there was an old guy, a crazy guy. He went to high school for 1 year with Danny Dooley. Crazy motherfucker. Got pancreatic cancer. And when he got that diagnosis, he killed my dad. And he got it. My father got him in the house. He gave him pills. My father died. I found out a year later because the guy was dying. He wanted me to tell him. He wanted to confess to me again. And I said, all right. You know, I said, I would do nothing to you. You did him a favor. And my mother will never admit it, but it was a burden off of her. Like, you know, she was taking care of him every day.
Absolutely.
You know, and working as a secretary. So that happened when I'm 21 when he leaves this world. And a loser. I'd going nowhere. And
so you tried to stand up and it didn't go well on that 19th.
Right. Yeah. And he was still alive at that point. And it was terrible. I had to do 5 minutes. I went on at 1:30 in the morning. What they do is they put 200 pieces of white paper in a hat. And they're all blank. They put 10 pieces of paper with the numbers 1 through 10 on them. If you get one of those, that's the number you're on that night in the lineup. And there's a professional host to get laughs. And after every auditioner, there's a real comic, so the people are entertained. They don't want everybody to bomb. I'm last. I get there 5:30. All right. I was in the Milford Plaza practicing in the bathroom. This stupid act I had, and people were shitting, not laughing. I did my whole act 3 times, and I heard a toilet flush. I said, "Well, you didn't make a noise."
You know, that could be a good thing in some instances.
You know? You're right. Maybe the guy's got a shit sense of humor. I'm in the Milford, the lullaby of old Broadway. That's where I am. Whores are coming in and out. I go over there, and, you know.
Were you like Rupert Pupkin at this moment?
Worse. I had a worse suit on. No, here's what it was. I didn't have the ball, so on the Howard Stern show, I heard that Bob Dylan and the Grateful Dead were doing a concert at Giant Stadium that day. So I took my father's handicap van. I drove to Giant Stadium, and I took mushrooms with my buddy. And I got fucked up on the mushrooms. And halfway through Dylan's set, I said, I'm leaving. He goes, where are you going? I said, I got the ball. My balls are up now. I'm hot. I'm going to go do stand-up. I'm going to try it. So those were the circumstances. I got there, and now I'm waiting all night, and the mushroom headache starts. I got nobody to drink. About 1:30 in the morning, I went on stage and bombed for 5 minutes. And but I can't believe. I don't know if I should sing you this song because it's very embarrassing.
You sang a song?
Well, okay. You see, it's like, you sang a song. Now I have to tell it to you. I bombed with material, but I wrote a song parody. And this is very indicative of the politically incorrect times. Like, everyone's doing gay humor. Eddie Murphy, like young comics, so Eddie Murphy would use the word faggot in a joke. I go, dude, get his first album. There's a bit called Faggots. Mm-hmm. A whole bit is named that.
And he does Jackie Gleason and Art Carney.
Guys get fucking each other. How would you like to fuck me in here?
I mean, this was back then.
How about Red Fox with Aunt Esther? Esther, go in the kitchen and stick your face in the dough and make gorilla cookies. Even a black guy saying, "Are you kidding me?" And Bill Cosby, of course, was nice on TV, but raping everything that walked him. He was the most offensive guy. The 70s, what a crazy time. But so I wrote a song parody. You know what? I'm gonna have the balls to sing this for you.
Go ahead.
You may leave. The show Cheers is a gay bar called Queers. That's the setup. Here's the theme song. I sang this the first time I ever performed at the original Improv. Going to bars where everyone's straight gets to be a rut. You want to go where you can get rammed in the butt. And Judy Garland's all they play. Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows you're gay. And they're not afraid to say. When I look at his ass, I lick my chops. And all the bar stools have no tops. You want to go where everybody knows, and I point the mic to, and they all go, you're gay, they'll win. Then they applaud. And my closure was, this was not the first time a large group of people looked at me and shouted, you're gay. The first time was I was in the upper deck of a Mets game sucking a cock. Last thing I said.
Was this part of the routine?
No, I improv it. I tagged it. That got like giggles and like a couple people going, ew. Ew.
Yeah.
The direct opposite reaction.
Were those guys going, ooh?
It was like very. So the woman who owned the place was Bud Friedman's ex-wife. Bud, by that time, this is 1987, so he was successful.
1987.
He was in L.A. He opened the mill.
Yes,
he left her behind, and I could see why.
Him there, yeah.
I saw his second wife a couple times. And she was very nasty, Miss Friedman. She was talking to some of the comics, and I said, well, I should ask her. Maybe I passed the audition. I went up to her and I said, hey, do you have any advice? She goes, I give advice to people who pass the audition. Bye. Like,
Oh, was that cold?
Yeah, very cold. Like, welcome to showbiz. And listen, I don't want to. The woman I believe has passed away now. To borrow a Woody Allen quote in Broadway, Danny Rose, she was not an attractive woman. Looked like something you might buy in a live bait shop.
Right.
Like,
Great line.
I thought it was Danny Aiello. Anyway, but the song parody, I'm like, that took some balls, and I think she was offended by that. She was very progressive. And but that was so. The kicker though is 13 years later. Wait a minute, 1987. Oh my God, about 19 years later, I sell out Carnegie Hall in 2 hours, and at the end of my set, I did an hour and a half. I got a standing ovation coming on and going. I tell that story, and I sang that song at Carnegie Hall.
Isn't that great?
With the Mets tag.
With the tagline.
I sang that song at Carnegie Hall.
Amazing.
With the setup, it's funny.
Yeah. But so did any of the people from that first performance ever?
I think a couple of people said, this is the second time we've seen you. November 6th, 2009 is when I saw. And now the girl from the Yankee Stadium story, who, by the way, she got out of the car in the South Bronx, went up to 5 Puerto Rican kids and said, this guy's trying to kidnap me.
She said that?
Yeah, to the kids.
And what the kids said?
The kid comes up to me and goes, and this is where you have superheroes. If you're kind of famous, you never know. The guy, yo, motherfucker, where's Artie? She gets mad, runs towards. I keep putting her in the car. She gets out of the car. This goes on. It's like a fucking Marx Brothers movie. And I lose her. She walked over to George Washington Bridge.
This is a 5-year relationship?
Yeah.
How long after that did you...
Oh,
together still after that?
That was November 2000, 2.5 years. We broke
More.
up. We broke up in Turks and Caicos New Year's Eve,
Did she swim home?
2005. I'm swimming home. And then she went to a couple of natives and said, "He's raping me."
She's walking over the.
I dropped 50 grand. But you want the stories? I'll give you the story. You think you've met losers? Okay.
50 grand on what?
Okay, listen. I've
Turks
been
and
engaged.
Caicos?
See, he's like telling one of my. It's like telling one of my uncle, a very witty uncle. A guy in the neighborhood who's good at witty. Okay, this apartment, I've lived with 3 separate women. I was engaged to 2 of them. And okay, this was number 1.
Are they all alive?
I don't know. Google them. Google Artie's engagement rings.
Oh shit.
Okay, so I said, "Fuck it." This woman, I was moving fast, and my life was. I said, "But this is the girl." She was a school teacher, but had an edge. Little attached, looked like a little Carmen Electra, gorgeous. I pursued her. She was a bartender over here.
Did you squeeze her tits?
No. And she squeezed mine many a time. But she talked like Dice Clay when she was mad. You fat fuck!
Don't you love those girls?
I do. I do.
They're the best.
Unfortunately, yeah. That's why I don't have a Bentley. So 3 different women. So I bought her a ring for Turks and Caicos. I said, I'm going to go ask her to marry me. But this is how afraid of commitment I am. I go down to the port to a guy I know who you could buy diamonds from, and he got me an engagement diamond for 50 grand. Now I knew it had to be really worth way more than that if he's selling it for me. Uncut, unmounted, just a diamond. So I take it to the Hasidam on 47th Street. The guy looks at it and he goes, "Sir, you have a $247,000 rock." I said, "Really?" He goes, "You want to sell it?" Now the guy told me, he goes, "Listen, if you sell this, I know everybody." He goes, "I'll find the fuck out. This better be on the ring of that broad, on the finger of that broad, because if it doesn't go through, you bring me the fucking ring back." And I go, "Okay." He goes, "Don't sell it." I go, "All right." He goes, "You know the favor I'm doing for you, just because the guy that got me the job, I don't know what the fuck, I guess had some Jews." So, okay. So I'd never get it mounted. It's a diamond rolling around in my bag, my carry-on bag. And I'm like, what did I think? Like I was going to say, listen, if you like this part, we'll go to getting it mounted. And I'm like, what? Like,
right.
Like that's how afraid of committing.
Like in pieces. What do you think?
Living life in pieces. Are we good with this? We'll go to the next thing of getting it mounted. So we're there for 5 days. Actually a room. Jay-Z had stayed in the same room we were in the week before. It cost me 40 grand. On the water, on the fucking water. We rang in the New Year at a bonfire, and I'm the kind of guy though. Like if a girl, the self-esteem I have, if a girl's willing to have sex with me, I think she'd have sex with anything breathing. Like that's how I feel. So if I see her talking, like I'll go like, "What were you talking to the dog for? Are you in Buster? What's you in Buster?"
You give it a Jake LaMotta.
That's how I get.
You said you. Why'd you say Tommy? You said Tommy. You said Salvi. Why'd you say that? It meant something, Joey.
Oh, it's unbelievable. How great were they?
You fuck my wife?
Where the balls you ask me again? I'm your fucking brother. And he goes, one time he goes, I love when he says, you got to make sure Tommy don't die. You going to die? What do you mean? You sick? No, I'm just saying, it's a figure of speech. He's sick. Why is he going to die? Shut up. So, yeah, I would watch him do shit in slow motion, like that obsession thing.
Right, yeah, with Kathy Moriarty, slow motion.
Oh, God. Scorsese nails that.
Right?
That's in Scorsese's head, too. So, some actress. What the fuck? So, yeah.
Every guy
I
has
think
that
so.
moment.
But he really had, there was the obsession, because Raging Bull is not about boxing. It's not about Jake LaMotta. It's about obsession.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't you?
Absolutely.
So I never got a chance to ask her because we got into a fight, like a shouting match on a level of, okay, we're sitting in bed and we're room service, and the Stern show, the E show comes on. It's a repeat that I'm on, and there is a porn star there who, I don't even give a fuck. I hope you are listening. Who I did fuck. I fucked the porn star on the beach in Miami.
Oh, man. You're still bitter at her, aren't you?
Well, listen, I hope she's listening.
She hurt you.
I hope she's listening.
Did this one hurt you?
Yes, absolutely. They all hurt me.
Okay, this one hurts.
Not as much as her. Well, let's put it this way: her and her mulatto baby. I hope her listening. She bought a mulatto ticket and won.
So what happened?
Your poor uncle Patsy. I hope you didn't go to that wedding. Her Uncle Patsy would go like this. She had a young nephew, about 8 years old, comes home, and he had an assignment to write an article about their favorite black role model. The guy, Uncle Patsy, goes, Go back and tell your teacher you don't have a black roll.
Oh, man.
The word black was 40 syllables. You don't have a black. Anyway. Yeah, I love podcasts. So we got into a loud shouting match because of, she said, you fucked her. I go, no, I didn't. Well, she blew me. It's the truth. In front of the Delano at 5 in the morning. And I said, like, she should have had one of those Jiffy Lube shirts on with her name, the porn star, because that's how good it was, a professional. And we, like, laid there on the beach. And if my life should have said the end, it should have said the end, over, like, ending on that. It would have been perfect, but I kept
Camera
going.
pulls up, helicopter shot. You're on the beach, and you look up to the sky,
If you were
and a
direct-
big
yeah.
smile on your face.
Done deal. We're out.
That's it.
And we're out. Yeah, go. You have lunch with your dad in purgatory right now. And you tell him that story. Yeah. But of course, my life.
Another Scorsese shot.
At first, quite frankly, the porn star, from what I heard, did not end well. Her life went to the shit too. Like, if the best thing I could have done for both me and the porn star was duct taped her to my leg and walked into the ocean. So she knew. These broads, they know. She go, you fucked her. I could tell what you're doing. I know I didn't, and she was on the money.
So then you had a big fight over
Big fight. She packs her bag and leaves. I go, what do you like? Someone? What do you work for? The MI6 agency? You have people who pick you up everywhere?
Oh, right.
Like, how do you leave places? You disappear. You're home before me. She left. I never saw her till she packed her bags and then she went to the airport or something, and she went home. She thought I cheated on her. So
You're sitting there. So you're sitting at a hotel room.
Yeah,
The girl is gone.
$40,000.
It's $40,000 with a $250,000 diamond
right.
ring. diamond in your bag.
Yes, you're accurately describing the situation.
That's right. And what are you saying to yourself at this time when she
I'm
leaves?
saying, I wonder if Jay-Z will come back here. I wonder if he had his problem. I have 99 problems, Jay.
Or did you do that Scarface moment? I don't need you. I don't need nobody.
Well, look, what is you? Just what were you waiting around to fuck you? You waiting for me to fuck you, pelican? Fly, pelican, pelican. This was about fucking sucking. So that's what I was doing. I said,
Did you stay the rest of the trip, or did you leave the next day?
I stayed the whole fucking time. I said, I'm getting my fucking.
Oh, man.
And again, Jay-Z, I said, I got 99 problems and a bitch is one. A bitch is all of them. And I said, this is, how can I be this much? I'm doing everything I was dreamed of. How am I having women problems like that? And again, I said, I don't know. I used to read up on Sinatra and Ava Gardner. I'm like, it can't have been this bad.
Hey, he went.
He went
You
nuts.
know what he had.
Yeah.
He shot the mattress that time.
I know.
So he heard it. She runs over. I mean, this and that. I mean, I heard a story the other
Right,
day.
Ava Gardner told that story on the last Sinatra special. He wanted her to think he killed himself.
Yes.
In the other room, he shoots the mattress. Oh, God. I guess that's not as good as my...
The drama.
Well, yeah, I guess, I'm living life.
I mean, I think that. Well, I guess when Kennedy went to Bing Crosby's house instead of Sinatra's, that could kind of be the kind of feeling you had at that moment.
Well, yeah, I love that. I love how mad Sinatra got it, though. Like that Italian jersey, like, what's he doing?
Not only that, he was Crosby was a Republican.
He's a fucking Republican. Oh, that's great. Joe
You
Kennedy.
think they did that on purpose?
What do you mean? Like,
Well, I
to
mean-
fuck with Sinatra, you mean?
I mean, there was look. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Joe Kennedy, I
You're
think.
Sinatra,
Right.
Or I'm Sinatra.
Yeah.
And Kennedy, and you're helping him, and you got this whole thing rigged up.
You got him elected.
You get him elected,
Yeah.
and he's going to come to the thing. You built the heliport. Not only does he not come to your house,
Oh, God.
he goes to Bing Crosby's
It's
house.
the worst thing ever. It is.
All right.
And the Kennedys seem like troublemaking fucks. I mean, Joe Kennedy, the father, summoned Sinatra, says, get him a, call your friend Giancana.
My grandfather was partners with Joe Kennedy
No kidding.
in bootlegging.
The Detroit, was he a Purple Gang guy?
Out of Southampton. Marshall Field and Joseph P. Kennedy. My grandfather was the Italian.
The Chicago guy, Marshall Field.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
They had a big thing in South. My mother was born in Southampton.
Right, okay.
So my grandfather was the
Wow.
Italian conduit for those guys and liquor.
Wow,
and alcohol.
that's an important gig, man. You put that's
He-
the guy
he
knows
was that guy.
You don't give a simple guy that job.
He was that guy.
He was the conduit.
He was the conduit.
Wow, that guy's responsible for a lot of money. Wow.
He was the conduit. My grandfather, Stefano Rullo.
Wow. And now listen, I mean, those times, arguably the most fascinating times in history.
And he was a humble guy. He would never think this.
Yeah.
He,
Well, isn't that
he
the
always
way
drove
I'm-
a Cadillac.
Right.
Lived with my family. He didn't die with money or anything, but lived
But
with my family.
did he have it somewhere? Or?
Oh, back then, yes. Back then, apartment buildings. This
Right.
and that. He
Well, Joe
squandered
Kennedy.
everything. I was told he gambled.
Oh, he
and
did.
squandered
Oh,
everything. Yeah, yeah.
Well, Joe Kennedy was so. It was almost like he could see the future in the sense that he goes, "All my kids, none of them are going to make any money." So he made real estate investments that, to this day, when they need money, they sell off something he bought. Right?
Yeah.
Dan, what was the building he just sold in Chicago for $800 million?
Merchandise Mart.
Okay.
The merchant.
And he bought it
That's
like
been theirs for years.
bought it,
Yeah.
what, 1928.
That was Marshall Field's warehouse.
Okay.
Well, they had one on Long Island where the liquor used to come out of the Sound, and then my grandfather had distributed.
Wow.
With the blah, 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 blah. Never arrested.
Right. Well,
Never
that's
really
a-
got his hands dirty. He was just the
And low key.
low key.
That's what Carlo Gambino was. That Carlo Gambino never did a minute in the joint. He died a very happy guy with a smile on his face, about 400 mil in the basement.
And then I find out that when I went to Sicily last summer,
Yeah.
that Carlo Gambino comes from my father's father in
Oh,
his
okay.
hometown in Torretta.
Yeah.
It was
In Sicily.
In Sicily.
Well,
I was half Napolitan. My mother
right.
was Napolitan.
I'm
father was Sicilian.
Napolitan. My mother's Napolitan. Yep.
Have you been?
Yes, one time. Well, no. My uncle went. I came close. I was working. I said, I can't believe work is preventing me from doing this. I hate that I was a slave to money at that point, but I worked in Cologne, Germany, and I flew through London. And I did stand-up in Scotland at the Edinburgh Festival, and I did stand-up for the troops in Afghanistan and Russia, and I never, of course, I've been to London, I've been to Paris.
I'm going to tell this.
Never went to fucking Italy.
I got to tell my friend, they have the Ischia Film and Music Festival.
Yeah.
They honored Jimmy Kimmel last year because he was from Ischia. Part of his family's from Ischia.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, yeah. Pavarotti, myself, Antonio Banderas, Helen Mirren. There's a great, it's on the island of Ischia in Sicily.
Oh,
in
wow.
Italy, in Naples.
That must be beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something, it's a nice summer trip.
Well, listen, my uncle went in '92, and we found out we were not from royalty. My cousin Eugenio Manto, we found out where he lives in Alta Villa, little village above Naples. It's 1992. It was a mud hut. He lived in it. The Flintstones lived better. He had nothing. There was a piece of mozzarella and a fish on the table. They looked inbred. My uncle had a recording camera, a video camera. In 1992, my cousin Eugenio looked at it like, kept grabbing at it. And my grandmother said to me at the time when I was in Germany, I'll try to go see the cousins. She goes, you have to stay with them. It's an insult not to stay with them. I looked at my uncle's video. I said, listen, I'm not going to. Is there 4 seasons in Altavilla? But yeah, so I took okay, here's the kicker. I take the diamond back. I fly it back. And that's where we broke up.
Did she see the diamond at that point or no?
No, she didn't even know about it.
She didn't even know
I hope you
about it.
find that out now. No, she knows now. But yeah, no. Yeah.
So you fly back with
Fly
the
back. I go to the port. I find a guy. And he goes, what the fuck happened? I go, it didn't work out. He goes, motherfucker. He goes, I got to tell you, I don't, you're very successful. How was that? How are you successful? You're stupid. He goes, I used to work here. What the fuck? I told everybody you're going to fucking, when you started making money, I'm like, this is crazy. God bless you, but you're so stupid yet you live. Very supportive guy. And he had his hands on everything.
You gave him the diamond.
I said, I got to sell it back to you. He goes, I'll give you 25 grand. I go,
wait.
I won't say his name. I won't say.
Would you like that? Trump does that. I'm not going to say his name. I love when he does it.
say that
That's such a
loud.
New York thing. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say his name.
So I said 25,000. I said, well, you're kidding, right? I just paid you 50 grand. He goes, well, what the fuck? I got to make a little money. A little money? I said, what the fuck? I'm like family around. He goes, no. He goes, this is bullshit. I don't trust any of this. I go, what trust? And he took it back. So basically, I listened.
He took it back for 25
I was afraid
or
of the guy.
50?
No, I paid him 20. He paid me 25,000.
You lost 25,000
So basically, what I did was,
on a
this is
$250,000 diamond. You sold it back to the guy for 25.
I couldn't sell it to anybody else.
Why? That was the
Because
word?
it would be disrespectful. I'm making money off the guy. He goes, I could do that. He goes, I'm doing you a favor.
I see. All right. Well, that
So,
was.
again, these guys are like, it's nothing to them because it all fell off a truck
Right,
somewhere.
right,
So
right.
he just had it. And this guy's making like he was the brains behind it. But they fucking, you had a place no one went to because nobody likes you. It'll be safe over at his house because nobody's there. Nobody's over there fucking saying we love you. But anyway, I was scared of him. what am I going to tell you? I wish I had a tougher story there. I did the right thing. And plus, I had a life I don't want to fuck with. I won the lottery.
So
I'm
you
telling
lost
Dick
25 grand.
No, this is accurate.
And
sentence.
the girl.
Accurate sentence. So the girl won, yeah. I rented a ring for $25,000. Oh, for a week. I rented a ring for a week for $25,000.
Basically.
Rolling around in my duffel bag like a toothbrush. My life was chaos.
Not even a Hasidic beard did you have it in.
No.
In the duffel bag.
In the duffel bag. Yeah.
Yeah, women will do the strange things.
I did know again. Richard Pryor. They got half the money and all the pussy.
They do the strangest things to us women.
I tell gay guys, you're fucking lucky. You're lucky you want dick. Dick can't be as cunning as a pussy. It can't be. There's nothing.
Well, if you hear some of them nowadays, there are.
Yeah, well, that's true.
You know?
I don't know. I mean, like, you get, well, you know, sex. It must be great to be gay because when someone wants sex, there's no one there to say no. There's no chick. They just fuck. They fuck, they put on a fluorescent shirt and dance. Oh, you know? No. What the fuck?
She has a headache.
And, you know what else, by the way? So this chick, again, it's all connected. Are you going to love this? The Carnegie Hall thing where I sang the queer
Did
song.
she go?
You know, she went. This was a couple years before Turks Gay goes. But we were in a fight, and that's how I got her back. It was her birthday. It fell on her birthday.
You gave happy birthday to the whole audience?
The whole audience sang it. I brought her out on stage. Yeah. All the Carnegie Hall sang happy birthday to her.
Look at that. Look at that. I mean, that's like better than the diamond ring.
Well, then we went to the after party at Caroline's. I got a room at the Ritz-Carlton, $3,500 for the night, overlooking the park. She called me getting high in the bathroom. And I told her I was clean, and she fucking...
She was getting high?
Called me. I was.
She caught you getting high.
Right.
You were clean.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. What did you say to her?
With a female comic.
Oh, you were with a... Okay.
In the ladies' room. A lot going on there. The optics were bad on it.
Mm-hmm. not very good.
That's the word.
So was she a little justified, perhaps?
It was like the Clinton meeting with what's
right. The Lewinsky meeting?
She was always justified. No, the Attorney General.
Oh, okay, right.
That word optics, everybody said. Every hot chick on Fox was the optics were bad. Yeah, the optics were bad.
The optics are bad when Clinton met everyone.
Yeah, and my optics were bad being in the stall in the ladies' room at Caroline's doing heroin with the female comic.
Were you snorting it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, the female might have had the works. I don't know. But yeah. And she called me. And she goes, you fucked her. I go, no, I didn't.
That's all. She wasn't about the drugs. It was about fucking her?
No, she was mad at both things.
Okay.
But both things were true.
Mm-hmm.
And this girl the comic was not the porn star. She looked like Trump. Same hair. No, so again, terrible. So she leaves. I go back to the Ritz-Carlton by myself again.
Oh, God.
I get all the soap.
Do you sabotage these things on purpose?
I don't know. I get all the soap in the scents they give you. I load up. And I went to the Astro Diner, which we used to go to because around a block from the first studio. Carnegie Hall is right around a block from the first 4 years I was on Stern before Sirius. It was right there. And I used to go to the Astro Diner all the time. And the waitress there knew me. And she was working on it was a Friday morning. We had Fridays off because it was Sirius. So I did a Thursday night there. Sold it out in 2 hours. People call the show saying they spent $5,000. They scalped. They came from Canada.
Jeez.
Okay? I had a great set. Again, 5 minutes standing up. My mother was crying. I took my mom. She's like, oh, this is so great. She goes, I wish, your flowers, this shit. And she went to the after party. She left, and, I went to get high in the bathroom. And then, very touching. And then, I'm at the Astro
Well,
Diner.
at that time, you're not thinking, right?
No.
There's no emotion?
No, there is, but that Italian emotion you never get rid of. There's no drugs enough to make me...
Right, the Italian.
Yeah. My mother has superpowers. Like, if I went into an Olive Garden in Phoenix, my mother would get a pain in her kidney in Jersey. She wouldn't want me eating that food. She says, "Do not let me catch you at the Olive Garden." I go, "What would you be doing there?" She goes, "Someone would tell me." I'm like, "Who? Were you hooked up back there?" So I'm eating at the Astro Diner, having 2 over medium eggs when I should be having a romantic strawberries and champagne.
Oh,
and I watched them take my poster down.
Oh, God.
There. Because it was finished.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So you were watching them unwind and putting the next show up and all of that.
Took it down and they put up...
It's kind of nostalgic, isn't it? I did that in Vegas when I was at the Venetian.
Did you?
Well, because,
Well, you're there a lot, though.
No. This was the first time I did which was the Sands Hotel, and here
Well, let's talk about that.
No, but I've had huge film openings, all that bullshit.
Right.
And I mean, all over the world. But now driving on the 15 and then seeing for the first time,
Right.
that poster.
Oh yeah,
for
Route
singing,
15 going into town.
going
That's
into
so.
town,
I made that
seeing
trip a
your
lot. I love it.
billboard, to see your.
I did that with me once, but you singing like that must be.
Well, it was.
When did you start doing that on that level where you got bookings like that?
Well, I mean, but again, the nostalgia of it taking
Oh, no,
down
I-
the first
oh,
time.
right.
That's what I'm. No, that was.
Did you get the
a couple of years ago?
Well, let me ask you this. So again, people might not know this. Robert, of course, has an amazing acting career, and you then start. At what point do you start making a living singing, like being paid for it?
Well, I had early on. Everyone that knew me thought I was going to be a singer.
Right. Oh, so that was their first choice. Choice.
Well, it was a concurrent choice, but I was so involved in the singing as well.
Right.
But they also thought that was going to happen because I was so obsessive with
So
it.
you're very good. I mean, like you got chops and you.
Yeah, I'm pretty.
Yeah. But good. I mean, that's rare. That actor says he knows how to sing. It's rare they do.
Yeah. No. I was probably Anyway, I then do the thing, and so I did the album 2011. Phil Ramone produced it, and then I started getting booked and then traveling around the world, and it's
What
I
a
love
life!
it.
Well, it's
I
a
love
great
it.
life, right? It's like.
I had 5,000 people in Estonia.
Now, what is that like singing? I know that amount of people telling jokes is very hard for the time. Singing though, how do you gauge you're doing well in the middle of a song?
Well, because
they're captive.
They're captive,
Yeah.
and then after the song, there's applause, and then when you have a 12-minute standing ovation, from
That's
5,000
right, that's it.
Estonians,
Then you're doing well.
you know what I mean? You kind of like.
I don't know what you mean.
No.
12 minutes.
No, 12 minutes. But here's what's funny.
Good for you.
You know how difficult this business is, right? Ups and downs in our careers, right?
Look at what I'm wearing.
Especially the span of a career. You
Right.
know what I mean? You have those bright moments.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So whenever I get depressed about the business, the film business,
Yep.
which I get pissed off at quite frequently because I haven't done the parts I perhaps wanted, or
I don't know
more.
how you don't work just link every movie to movie to movie. I can't believe that.
Well, whatever it might be some politics. Who knows what it is? Some of it. You know what I mean?
We should get
'Cause
into
I'm
that
quite
because
outspoken.
I guarantee that's true.
Yeah,
that you're
I
Republican.
know it
That
is.
you're Republican.
Yeah, I know
Oh.
that. I know it is. And also for Trump, you know what I mean. So that's another big.
The most
thing.
polarizing guy, and yeah.
Well, I think he's going to be the biggest uniter eventually.
I
the
hope
country.
you're right. But
I think so.
I finish this thought because we're going to talk into that. But
yeah. So anyway, because you'll laugh at this.
Yeah.
So I'll drive in my car in Los Angeles. Let's say the agent will say, "Hey, they're interested in you for this film." And
all right.
And then it doesn't happen. So I go, "Fuck them," and I put on my concert at Estonia. Where the last few songs, they're all cheering 5,000 people.
that's great.
And it's like, again, I'm doing
That's
that.
great.
I'm doing that Al Pacino moment when he's sniffing.
Yeah.
That's my cocaine.
Yeah, but,
that's my
but
fucking mound
isn't
of
it great
coke.
that you have that?
Yeah, that's what's great.
Actors don't have that.
Yeah.
I would tell my buddies when we were young, try to at least learn how to do stand-up. Get 20 minutes you could open for somebody because with an actor, you're waiting for calls. You're out there back. You could create work if you could say act. Get on stage and really perform.
Stand up. It's you and a microphone.
That's it. That's all I need.
What a great business. God bless you.
I got this mic, and you know what?
You need have Mike well traveled.
Listen, God bless. I'm still getting. Yeah, I'm getting.
See, somebody up there likes you.
I'm getting 50 G's at the Borgata next week.
All right, somebody up there likes you.
I only owe 70. No, you're right. Dan, is that not true? Somebody up there likes me.
Yes.
God bless you.
A bunch of people because I am not. I should have been out of this business or dead. I am just absolutely.
Now you're in a good spot in your life now, right?
Well, I fell off the wagon after a year and 4 days in February. I know that's a long time ago. I've been good for a while, but
you get nervous on that?
Well, listen.
Can you snap?
I'll tell you what happened. I saw a girl in a town. I won't say the name of the town. You might figure it out. A team called the Red Sox may or may not play there. Beautiful girl.
Michigan?
Beautiful girl. And she was 23 when I met her. Big tits from
She was what, 23?
Yeah, when I met her. Big tits. 15 years ago. She was from Southie, that Southie accent.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to ride your dick off.
Oh, God.
Artie.
Irish girl?
Are you bringing the beer, Artie? We're going to see you with that. We're going to have a wicked time over at the Comedy Connection. And good laughers, her family, but they do expect a lot for free. But she was stunning, and but she had a lot of the same problems I had. I didn't see her for a while, and she shows up. I do a gig last December. She shows up, with cocaine. And I'm like, this is the devil. Because she still looked good. She had 2 kids. She still looked good. Like, she was a first-round draft pick in 1983, and by now, she should have bad knees, ready for her Hall of Fame speech. And she is, but she's a stud still. So I felt...
You weakened.
I weakened, and she comes on the road with me for a couple weeks. I get her a hotel room. The people I'm with don't even know she's there. I play it skillfully because I did this back in the day. And she had, she used to crush up pills. That's what she did, to snort. And I'm like, all right, whatever. She gets these Oxycontins. Now, she gets room service. I'm in the shower. Unbeknownst to moi, I should have made her keep clapping her hands when I was out of the room. I used to do that.
She's chopping.
Yeah, with a salt shaker. Some of it breaks. I snorted glass, long story short.
Oh, shit.
I snorted glass. I'm going to repeat that. I snorted glass. I wanted to throw her. I wanted to drive to the Prudential building in Boston, take the elevator up, and throw her off it.
Were you bleeding?
Yes. And for the last 6 months, I have to get an operation.
No, because of that.
Yeah. Now I go to a Judd Apatow show that I booked on HBO, and I have a reputation, of course, as a junkie. Now I get there, people don't, and my nose starts to bleed in the middle of a take.
And they're worried about everything.
Well, it happened on stage. Sold out show in Pittsburgh, 2,000 people, and the guy comes up and gives me a rag and wipes my nose. I go, well, now everything's happened. Now everything has happened. I had the ring for $50,000. Thursday, I go, there's people in Puerto Rico.
You can't even hide.
No. I do a bit where my buddy Anthony, when I did 2 months in LA County Jail, he said, call me, I'll tell you how to survive in jail. Now, again, Guido Kid, he goes, what he told me you can know from watching any Lethal Weapon movie. I said, he goes, find the biggest, baddest guy you can the first day in the yard. Beat the shit out of him. I go, great, but what if I can't beat the shit out of the guy? I'm not, who am I? The Rock? So on stage, I go, I have a different way to survive. First day, found the biggest, baddest guy, and I blew him.
Oh.
I gave him the worst blowjob in the history of blowjobs. I said, I wanted it to get around the jail that I gave a terrible blowjob. I said, listen, guys, if 2 guys are discussing your ability to give a blowjob in jail, here's how you want that conversation to go. You see that guy? Yeah, do not let him suck your dick. Whatever you do not put your cock in his mouth and let him suck it till you ejaculate down his throat. Whatever you do not get him in the shower, tie his hands to the shower, and fuck his mouth. He's terrible at it. Worst experience of your life. And I said,
that would stop it.
I said, guys, I did everything we had. I used teeth.
You know the whole joke, the husband or the wives?
What is it? No.
The guy goes to jail.
What is it?
I'm not going to say the punchline, but I'll give you that setup. The guy goes to jail, and there's this big guy, 6'8".
Yeah.
And the new guy that's an accountant, the blue-collar white-collar crime guy comes in there. And then he looks at him, you know what I mean? And there's his now roommate. His cellmate. And he goes, and the guy, cellmate, looks at him and says, does you want to be the wife or does you want to be the husband? and the guy goes, I'll be the husband. He goes, okay, get down on your knees and suck your wife's. You never heard that one?
No, that's great. But that's what it's like. That's what it's like. I had my own cell because I was on Mad TV, and there was a Mexican kid next to me. His entire back was covered with a tattoo of Speedy Gonzalez. I'll never forget that. And he was in there for 8 years awaiting trial for murder. And here's a conversation I had with him. He taught me how to make a pussy out of toilet paper. He goes, Artie. He goes, you take the cardboard out, man. You take that yellow, you make sure the water's lukewarm. I'm like, well, I'm really gonna sit here and make sure. He goes, dunk it in there. Let's stay overnight. Get it out there and just like rub it like this, right? And then just fuck it. He goes, man, you will not go back to real pussy, and it's better than real pussy. He's screaming this. He goes, it don't, bitch. It don't complain. It don't spend your money. It don't fuck your brother. I said, what the? Your wife fucked your brother? Yeah. Oh. And I said, what happened? I killed my brother. I said, you did? He goes, that bitch fucked my brother. I said, you're in here for fucking your brother? No, man, I got away with that shit. I said, what are you in here for? He goes, for killing the bitch.
My God, huh?
I said,
amazing.
Let's go back to the tattoo.
So what happened with the thing with this at HBO?
Well, no. Okay, so Judd Apatow yells action. Picture this is your life. Action. And then you hear, 4 seconds later, assistant director go, cut, Artie's nose is bleeding. What? But then they were very, look, I'm playing me. So they just wrote it, and then
They wrote it in that your nose bleeds?
Yeah, guys, so I'm playing me. It's going
Okay.
to happen.
Okay.
Maybe in every scene I get bad coke right before. No, so now I got the antibiotics. Now it looks normal again. It was out to here.
The nose was.
Yeah, I looked half. I looked.
Oh, my God.
One,
All because of
one
this-
part I was Italian, one part I was Yaphet Kotto.
Because of the. Oh my God! Because of the.
Because it went out.
Oh.
Because of the glass. I don't know if I got all the glass out. I went to the ear, nose, and throat woman, and she didn't even know what to say. The one who Joan Rivers.
You went there.
Yeah.
No, you went there?
I go to her. I know her. Yeah, she's my friend. Do you go to her for your voice?
No.
yeah,
I
she
got a
got
guy
pictures-
in L.A.
Pictures of everybody on the thing.
So
She
how
got
do you?
Pavarotti on the watch.
Yeah, what happened?
I'm
here?
sorry.
That's all right.
Fred Norris sent me.
Salud.
No, so they were fine with it because I
No, how do you fix it?
Well, they have an operation where they're gonna
Septum? Is it a septum?
There's no, I don't know, but there's no infection anymore.
Oh,
There was something here, and like the doctor says to me, he goes, it's behind that. I go, what? He goes, your brain. I go, get the fuck out of here. You don't know.
So that's scary, in other words.
You know what? I didn't think.
Are you still seeing this girl or no? Or is it done?
The Boston girl? No, she's dead. No, I'm not seeing her. No.
Okay.
I said, you gotta stay away from me, unless you gain a lot of
Are you
weight.
strong enough to keep away from her?
I said, if you gain a lot of weight, I'll see. I don't want to see you until you look like Nicholson in The Departed.
Oh.
No, she got it. I go. What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm too affectionate.
Mm-hmm.
I went out and I snorted glass.
No, addiction is a very, it's a tough monkey, man.
It's terrible.
You know,
it's
It's a tough monkey.
You go to celebritynetworth.com. There's a number there. That's what I should have. I tell these broads they think I have that. That's what I should have. I go, they don't. They look at what I made, but they don't look at, they're not privy to the Broncos not covering.
Mm-hmm.
They don't call my bookie.
No, but it's your health and it's everything else, and it's
Terrible.
Look
It's
at all
terrible.
these guys. Like I said, Milton Berle. Everybody lived to be 100 fucking years old.
I know.
Comedy
Yeah.
already releases its.
You're right.
Those things.
And I'm 48, and everybody always told me, you don't, like Dr. Drew is a good friend of mine. Well, whatever. I guess people say that, but he's always been very nice to me. And I didn't do the celebrity. He wanted me to do celebrity rehab. Like $300,000 was the over, and I said I can't do that. I can't. What I want to kill my mother. I mean, come on. And Howard was going to let me go. I wouldn't do it. And even with turning down making him money, he was always gave me advice and was there for me if I called him in the middle of the night. You know what it is with me? AA meetings. It's like a mathematical equation. If I go to 4 a week, I stay clean.
See?
4. If I go to 3, it doesn't work. And I thought, being very cynical, it was like people talking in bumper stickers. I didn't respect it. And then people who intellectually I respect a lot said, no, there's something to it. And what is it? It's very simple to me. And you're a guy who's, a man of the world, philosophical, a good thinker. To me, tell me if you agree with this. It's just being with other people. It's just having each other the same people have the same issue.
Well, it's not somebody trying to get you high.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like you just go.
They say, hey, man, come on.
There's
this
some of the
bullshit.
best people in the world who've gone through that whole program.
Absolutely.
There's people there who recognize you, and the guy, the speaker goes, "Don't worry, we're anonymous." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, you're policing that. I'm sure the guy didn't tell anybody." But you got to put that out of your head.
Yeah.
And just the fact that sometimes a plumber, a janitor at a diner will say the most profound thing about something, and with a different perspective. That's what I love about an AA meeting. And like one kid said, the best part about cocaine is going to get it. That's so true. It never gets better than that. It's a downhill thing from there,
I mean, there's so much more. I mean, look at just your view is
No, I'm
is
sitting here.
intoxicating.
I'm sitting here because, right? Well, I'll tell you what. This does get me out of. Because I'm a depressive person. I need something to push me out the door.
What is depression? Why? I mean, all right.
I don't know.
Is it your dad?
It ain't my own man. No,
It's not. It's not
I wouldn't
that.
do that to him. In the beginning, it was, but I got over that.
Right.
Because
tragedy happens to everybody.
Of
I mean,
course.
we all have this shit.
Of course,
that goes down.
everybody has their.
the
everybody
demon.
has the man of their house.
So what is it? What is the
become a
indulgence?
quadriplegic and go on welfare when they're 18.
Well, no.
No, I have bitterness. I have anger, but I got over it because I'll tell you why. I thought he did nothing wrong my whole life. Then in group therapy, Puerto Rican kid, I'll never forget this. My first rehab that Quincy sent me to. Quincy got me into this place and told me, Quincy Jones, who produced Man TV. Anybody who knows me knows how much I love that guy. And
me too.
Dedicated. Yeah, you have a relationship with him. It's just an amazing person. And his daughter Rashida, I've become kind of close with. She's a doll and just a wonderful kid.
He's one of the great human beings.
Yeah, he really is. Yeah, like
It's like Muhammad Ali. You know what I mean? I mean, he has that.
Now I know why people thank him at award shows, and a whole generation doesn't know who he is. As people get older, and it sucks getting old, seeing young people not know people they should know. You know.
Well, iconic. I mean.
Well, they don't study anything. There's
no history. They don't do anything. I mean,
right.
The kids today, there's no reference. There's no reference to the past. They're erasing it on purpose. I think culturally,
that's a good point. Yeah.
I think culturally they're erasing it on purpose.
Wiping it off the computer.
Wiping it off. So what happens is
that's an excellent point. When you think the direct opposite should be true, they have
access.
Yeah, they have access to it.
Access.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They don't want it.
I mean, they have some of these TV shows that have it, but the people aren't watching it, right? And
of course not.
And they're not even giving it now. When I was an actor, when I started as an actor, every single film, foreign director, French, Italian, German, I was hungry for the culture and the beginnings of American cinema.
I devour.
You know that you devour.
I love it.
See that, right? So, and same thing with the comedy and the music. There's
I got
no
so into the history of it. Yep.
The history, and not to have the drive or the passion for the kids. Don't. I've got 5 kids. Some of them know some of the stuff because osmosisly through me.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's not their.
What age range, if you don't mind me?
I got 3 decades. I got a 33-year-old, I got a 26-year-old girl, 24-year-old girl, and 15-year-old twins, boy-girl.
Oh my God!
And I've had addiction in the family. I know what addiction.
You know what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
This is who helped us too. I'm going to give you this.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. Listen, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope it's okay.
Yes,
it's a tough thing. It's a tough thing.
This is. I don't know if you know who that is. That's Padre Pio. Now you may
wait. Is he a saint or modern day saint?
He was made a saint and by Pope John Paul. That's a relic from him. That's from his.
So he was made a saint in the 70s.
No,
Pope John Paul.
No. He was made a saint in 2000 something.
Oh wow.
2003.
Wait, so John Paul was okay.
He was before Benedict.
All right. Okay. Right.
John Paul was before Benedict.
The German guy.
The German, yes, Ratzinger.
Ratzinger.
So, but Padre Pio lived in our era.
Thank you. And what was he? What was he?
He was a Franciscan priest. He had the stigmata of Christ. I was in Italy about a month ago.
On his hand?
Oh, no. This is all, not his hands, feet. He had
Wait. I have to use the bathroom. Save that. Take a break, Dan. We'll come back with that.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So this guy, when you say stigmata, so stigmata means like the scars where Christ got nailed.
Not scars.
You got it in the mic.
Your mic.
Not the scars.
Right.
The stigmata are the wounds of Christ, the actual nail marks in the hands and the feet.
I just said that.
Well, you said scars.
But the actual, what do you mean?
They bled.
Right. So in other words,
scars are like a scar. You know what I mean?
So in other words, it was bleeding.
Bleeding.
Get out of here. So this guy had this.
I just came.
I mean, I believe you, but I'm saying.
No. When I was 16, first off, Artie, when I was 16, I was cured because of him.
Of what?
I was in the hospital dying. They didn't know what.
Yeah, really?
Oh, yeah. And friends of ours, a guy named Joey Lamangino, who was blind.
Right.
All right. He had a trucking company, garbage company, when he was
of course,
11 years old.
Blind drove a truck.
No,
only
his family
Only
did.
Italian.
The tire blew up in his face and cut his olfactory nerves and his sight.
Oh, so he got it in an accident.
So this guy was in the accident, became blind in an accident and couldn't smell. He went to Padre Pio in San Giovanni Rotondo, Foggia, Italy.
Right.
And he came back.
Specifically to find a miracle?
Yes. Well, he went to different places. But he went and he met Padre Pio. And when Padre Pio blessed him, he smelled for the first time in 25 years.
Like a Padre Pio.
And Padre Pio said, no, it wasn't that. He smelled of roses.
That must be, okay. So that must have been mind-blowing on a level, like what just happened? Like a miracle.
To that guy. A miracle to him. Right. Anyway, so this guy would go back and forth. My family knew about him. I used to go to these rosary beads. He used to do the rosary and talk about Padre Pio. I'm a kid, teenager.
Okay.
Now I'm dying in the hospital. Doctors don't know what I have.
Why'd you go? You had the fever?
I had fever. I had pain.
Wow.
I went from 240, all league undefeated high school Seton Hall football All-American.
What position?
To offensive end,
No-
tackle.
no kidding.
He played the whole game. Defense, kicked off. Anyways.
To being sick.
To being dying. Now in the hospital.
Right.
140 pounds.
What'd they give you? A couple of months type of thing?
They didn't know.
Right, okay.
They're trying to find out muscle biopsies,
That's
all kinds of shit.
fascinating. That's like, you know.
So I said, please tell Joey to go ask Padre Pio. Anyway, he did. He gave rosary beads, and he then sent me rosary beads and a telegram, pray blessings, I'm no doctor, from Padre Pio. Well, a week later, the doctor says to my mother, Mary, if you told me your son would be in this shape a week ago, I'd say only a miracle. Right. Now, the doctor had no idea that we reached out to him and all of this other stuff.
Right.
So anyway, I recently went to Italy, to where Padre Pio was born.
You just went
a month ago.
Okay.
Petrocino.
And when did he die, Padre Pio?
1968.
Okay.
I went to Petrocino, where he was born and where he got the first stigmata, and then San Giovanni Rotondo in Foggia, which is not too far, where he spent 50 years, where the pilgrimage, and his body lies in state, uncorrupted.
He was there for 50 years.
At San Giovanni Rotondo. Yeah, he died on the 50th anniversary of receiving the stigmata at 83 years old.
On the 50th anniversary
of him getting it. He is a...
Wow.
And the reason why he's a saint, one of the reasons, I mean, many miracles, but Pope John Paul, before he became the Pope, he was a priest in Krakow, in Poland.
Oh, my God.
He was in his 20s.
Concentration camp or
no,
the city of Krakow?
The city.
Right?
He was a priest over there, Warsaw or whatever. And he went to see Padre Pio.
Right.
And Padre Pio, this is a 25-year-old priest, and Padre Pio said to this young priest, diocesan priest, you're going to lead the Catholic Church.
Wow.
One day you will lead the church. Then a woman in his diocese was dying of brain cancer. He wrote Padre Pio a letter. The woman was cured. But many curings, many different... You could look him up online. Though I believe his intercession in my family, some of the people...
And the addiction you're talking about.
An addiction, because it's a monkey on the back, and everybody, thank God.
Oh, no, I'm glad it has that ending.
You know what I mean?
I do, yeah.
You know, you never know where it goes. But anyway, keep that in your wallet. And
I'm gonna travel it all over the place. I do. My mother will love hearing this.
And tell your mom about him.
Yeah, she'll love this.
And that's a relic from his tunic. See on the back? That's actually from Padre Pio. That's a part of his. See, I mean, how many times can you say you have a saint's relic?
No, I'm just saying.
That's there.
Stuff like that. I am very. I know I'm spiritual about stuff like this, and that's something else AA does. It's it's based on the Bible and Catholicism. They had to change it for political correctness. God became a higher power.
Well, when my family got into that, I then started to go to
that. Did help you.
Well, I got into it. I learned at AA, and I went to Al-Anon. I went to Al-Anon. I went to AA. I went to CA, NA. I went to all of these things to find out what this.
Good for you.
I read Broken Toys. I read Terry Kellogg's book, Broken Toys, Broken Dreams.
Right. I read that too.
Homecoming by John Bradshaw.
Yeah, I read that.
All these books, right?
Yeah.
I became.
They were Simons kind of for me.
Yeah.
What now? At what age did? Well, I don't want to.
Did what?
Did whoever in your family start the addiction thing? High school? Was it a younger thing?
One was younger, and one was a little younger, and one was a little older.
Because the younger, it's the hardest if they're.
Yeah. But so far we got the young one.
That's so
Both
great.
of them, two of them were young, but they're okay.
That's great.
Right now,
that's a very unique, great thing. I mean,
well, I believe
a lot of bad endings.
Yeah,
and you believe such a.
I know because I prayed because I feel it's battling. You're battling some kind of thing, and I know that it's a spiritual malaise. You know what I mean?
No, I know, and my sister's not an addict at all, but she has this spiritual thing. She got this because, of course, though she was screwed up by my father in other ways, him falling, and it was a very difficult thing. And I don't blame it on him. I hate whiners. I do. I don't believe this whole disease fucking thing. I'm a weak person. I like being high. This disease thing to me is a cop out. But whatever helps you, whatever fucking helps you.
Whatever gets you through the night.
My old man was a guy who got to the 9th grade in high school, but he used to hurt my hand throwing baseballs to me, and we used to do pull-ups on his biceps when he came home. And he couldn't wipe his nose, at the last 4.5 years of his life. Yeah. We looked at that. We had to watch that, and my mother, it was devastating. So my sister went through her own shit, too, but she didn't get the attention I got because she did it in a stronger way, more inner. And I got a pass because, quite frankly, I started making money. So I threw money at everything.
That was the fix-it.
Yes, everything. And I said, I know, Ma, whatever. I can't make it to Christmas because I'm in jail or I'm on the road making money or I'm with the hooker or whatever. I'm in front of the Delano with what's your face. But here's a house. Here's a car,
Right. Well, it's hard. Sometimes going home is painful.
Yes.
And sometimes facing that reality, I know for myself. I mean, I have a sister, and then sometimes when you go back to those areas,
hard.
Because there was a lot of tragedy in my family too. My sister was murdered at 21.
Wow.
By her boyfriend.
Now, where did you grow up?
Dix Hills.
Whoa, God.
Huntington.
Oh, wow. All right.
You know what I mean? So I know. I mean,
her boyfriend murdered
her. She was missing for a year. Anyway, there's a tragedy there.
Geez.
But I have another sister who's out there in Mastic Beach. Great girl. But, you go home and you think of, and my parents died young at 56 years old. My mom and dad both died.
That's hard, man.
So I have 2 teenage daughters.
Had you made a name for yourself before they died?
No, here's what's funny. Yeah. Here's what's cool. The week I got the Sinatra film,
right,
my mother was diagnosed of having lung cancer. She died by the time we finished it.
Wow,
my dad died a year and a half later after it came out. So they both got to see that their kid is doing a film with Sinatra.
Wow.
That's what was bizarre.
Well, good for you, Robert. I mean,
on that, but not to.
I know. Listen,
I couldn't help them. I couldn't help them.
I know. You can't. Sure, you can.
You know what I mean?
Of course you can.
No, but I couldn't help them because my career hadn't been far enough.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So I always regretted to be able to say, "Hey, guys."
Yeah, no, me too. I got robbed of the time with my father where I could say, "Look what I did." I mean, I got robbed of that. But again, people get robbed. Just look at your story. Everybody has their shit, and. Real quick.
Faith has got me through all of that. That's what the basic.
I don't have it. I wish I did. I'm trying to get it.
Well,
I'm trying to get it. Stories like that help immensely.
Look, let me tell you, there are so many different things. Faith, again, when you have that, the knowledge, William James, the great psychologist, right, wrote a book, and he was saying one day he would believe in God, the next day he wouldn't believe in God, and one day he would believe in, and then he was going to commit suicide.
Right.
And at that moment, he received knowledge of God. He realized, you can't believe in God. You have to have knowledge.
Right.
There is something innately.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you need. Right. Okay.
Now I used to have arguments with my young cousin,
right,
who was very successful, partner with Shearson Lehman Brothers. Hamilton Partners, $9 billion thing. He was president of CIBC. When he was going to college, he never believed in God.
Right.
Never believed in God. We would have these discussions.
Young kid.
Now he's more spiritual than me. He found it. He got it.
But you were at that young age. You were.
I knew. Yeah.
No kidding. Yeah. So you never went through a period of time in life. You remember that intellectual thing? I don't believe it.
No.
I went through that.
No. I went through examination. I would read.
And your politics sort of reflect that too. You're not this bullshit like atheist Bill Maher, like a new rule. There's no God. None of that, and you're just as smart as these people. Because they would say you're stupid. That's what I hate about them.
That's
Bill Maher's message is, there's no God. You're stupid for believing in God.
Well, that's condescending.
That's why he's such an asshole.
Jackie Gleason made a huge, we talked about that when I met him the second time.
Right.
He made a huge exploration on Catholicism, Jackie Gleason, during his lifetime, and became very Catholic.
I think any bright person would be fascinated by it.
I had Jesuits, right, that helped taught me. And I read Teilhard de Chardin, who was a Jesuit that was silenced by the church. But he was such an intellectual Christian.
Right.
And, C.S. Lewis. But there are so many sign points that go beyond the idea of the questioning of faith and your higher power. Now,
they argue scientists need to, but it's like, to me, that has nothing. A true person of faith and the truly good priests that I've met in my life they seem like very smart people, and the other ones, they don't really say a lot of stuff that's smart, mostly because they're blowing me. But how do you? So real quick, the story about my father is 2 minutes.
Go ahead.
This was an epiphany to me. I just thought he could do no wrong, okay? And he put the ladder on the table and the only Italian kids in my neighborhood, he was trying to fucking help his family. He didn't do nothing wrong, trying to put food on the table. I go to my second AA meeting. I'm 28 years old that Quincy sent me to. And here's where I now meet intellectuals. Now, that's what this seemed to be, about faith and everything, what we were talking about. And the kid said, your father wasn't a good man in the group therapy. I go, why? He goes, because he put the ladder on that picnic table and he took a risk he shouldn't have taken, and he knew he had children. And to take that risk knowing he had children to where he could have fallen, he makes him a bad person. And I ran across the room and I sucker punched the guy in the face. And then he got on top of me and had to break up a fight. I reacted I got self-conscious about it, like a dumb idiot. So I said in my head, I should have argued with the guy, because I could have argued with him. But no one ever challenged that about my dad. Everyone just said he was a great. He made the point that no, look at the other way. You know, I generalized he was a bad person. That's what got me mad. But it is a point. He could have been more careful. But in my father's head, I guarantee it, he never thought he would fall. But
you know what? They're human beings with faults.
Right, exactly.
See, that's for him to say
that's the first time I figured that out at the age of 28. You know, that's what kind of a hero he was to me. You know, he was Superman.
Right, but even so, look, I can have stories. My dad they were great. My parents were great. They had their flaws. Like I have my flaws to my kids. You know what I mean?
We all come on.
My dad would step on my foot, punch the shit out of my arm, discipline the shit out of me. Now they'll say that's child abuse.
Right.
While he was beating the shit out of me, I knew he loved me.
Oh, I know.
There was never a fucking moment where I said to my father, "He's not a good human being." This guy was the salt of the fucking earth. And you know, mistakes are made, and forgiveness and our own humanity is what has to overwhelm. Now, it does relieve. You say to yourself, "Yeah," and I can understand. Look, you're going to be angry at all kinds of different things.
Yeah, and you can, as an artist, you should use that. I think the anger.
Absolutely, you could use it. You bank all of that. Right. You know, I was mad. Hey, you know, I shook my fist at God when I lost my parents young. I mean, talking to you like this, the
look on your face, like of this sort of intelligent, pleasant guy, because the characters you play, like in that Kill the Irishman, I'm thinking of. The first time we see you, or no, after you, it's like the time where you're in the back seat of the guy that you know you're going to kill. The look on your fucking face when the guy insults you and you're looking at him. It's goddamn scary. I mean, that's acting. You know, it's like, especially looking at you now, knowing, I mean, holy, you killed the guy with your eyes right there. And so... Yeah, that's got to come from. That's got to come from somewhere. Does that come from being mad at God at one point? You like, what did you? How did that manifest?
I have so many kinds of anger. You know, anger comes in you. You come in. You know, I mean, as a kid, as a everything, you have wherever that passion comes from. Yeah. Wherever that connection to the totality of the universe and who we are. That's where that comes from.
You got to come from somewhere. Yeah. That you tap into.
And you tap into that passion, and you able to, you know, wherever. I mean. A passionate family. Look at our families were probably very similar in terms of that passion.
Danny had the same thing. I mean, for Danny, he never became creative, but I don't know what he did. But no, the same thing. Italian from Chicago. Thank God I was able to use it to make a living, and I did. You know,
the opera and the Commedia dell'arte come from somewhere,
right?
In our heritage.
Sure. Oh, sure, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I mean, think about that. The opera, what Italians created.
And the music, the street singing, the Italian, the canzoni popolare, where they screamed their passions.
Some of those, like that scene in Shawshank Redemption where Morgan Freeman's like, I didn't know what those two Italian women were thinking about. You know that scene? And I never had, since that happened, I really tried to listen to different things. Because you dismiss opera. I'm an American. I grew up with classic rock. And my God, some of those voices are literally like you could almost see the pain. And it gets you through, man. It gets you through, like, you go, someone is having a way worse time than I am somewhere. And they're able to express it to me. You know, I don't know.
Absolutely.
I've had a lot of self-loathing sometimes with Italian stuff because we seem to be the last group, by the way, that you're allowed to goof on. Yeah. You can be very stereotypical with an Italian in a movie. Apparently.
Oh, yeah.
Very.
That's okay. So look,
that's okay.
There were more lynchings of Italians. I think we spoke about this.
You were saying that on Red Eye the other night. Right. I'm glad you say stuff
in
like that.
In 1986.
Right.
I mean...
people don't know how to react when you say that. Because they're like,
no,
wow,
because they go like, they don't know about it. You know what I mean? And we didn't victimize ourselves with it. So who gives a shit?
You overcame it. You don't bitch about it.
You don't bitch about it. You know what I mean? Sure, there was anti-defamation and stuff like that, but you continue on.
There's bad shit going on, man.
Bad. We're so divisive now.
Right, I know. And there's arguments on both sides that make sense, and some are also bullshit. But you got what you just said. You gotta fucking go and get it. Nobody gives you shit, and if you whine about it, you and the most successful black people are the ones who went and got it. They're just impressive human. Like Jay-Z. Jay-Z's different than the kid who was born next to him in the project who bitches about stuff. It's same. He's a different person. He's a better, more impressive human being. And it's in every race of people.
Every race of people.
Right, exactly.
It's the non-victimization of your own humanity and your own struggle.
Right.
And it's being able to want to accomplish anything you can set your mind to. But at the same time, it's not victimizing this thing and separating us.
Victimizing is the key word, man. And that does lead to separation, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like even with this whole movement of stuff like that. Look at it's tragic what happens.
Awful.
It's on both sides.
People's lives are going. Yeah, you know.
All right?
Yeah.
But again, I wish, as I said on the Red Eye, I wish the president gave the speech that.
Well, what did you think?
Chief
You
Brown
were on
said.
Red Eye before he gave that speech. What did you think of that speech?
I think he then put in the old Second Amendment.
Yeah, he did throw that in there. He's
didn't
got to
have
do
to-
that. He's got to do that.
He shouldn't have done that. It should have been about pure unity.
You know what he should have done? He should have made a rule. He should have said, listen, and a lot of it was very impressive what he said, and he hit home. But he should have just said, I got a rule. For this speech alone, for those cops, the phrase Black Lives Matter is not going to come out of my mouth. Just for this one time.
Well, I would have liked him to say, even go further than that.
No.
I would have liked to have said, you know what? We don't need to separate anymore.
Right.
All lives matter.
Well, yeah.
Black lives matter.
Yeah. Because,
White
that's
lives
a
matter.
deeper issue, though.
Police, but
I agree with you. Black Lives Matter is separating people. That's
it's
what they're
separating people. I mean, it also part of it. I think there may be an absolute, genuine cry,
Right.
because of whatever is
Oh, it
happening.
comes from somewhere,
comes from
sure. Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
absolutely.
But what happens is those things get hijacked by other entities,
And then the media fans that fire.
and they fan the fire. And look what's
Terrible.
happening. I mean, instead of saying, you know what, how do we now bring this all together? Yes, there is a problem. Ben Carson said it, and I mentioned it. I referenced that the other day too.
Right.
How many bad surgeons are there?
Exactly.
But you still go to the doctor.
Exactly. You have to. You have to.
You got
Well,
it.
listen, if somebody sits there and says there's no bad cops, you sound retarded. If somebody sits there and says there's no people wrong in the inner city that are complete bullshit, you sound retarded too. It's got to be treated individually, and then to make a law that does cover all of that is very difficult. But to me, in the garage, I don't know what happened with that kid in the car. I just know that the woman was the most casual woman. I never heard a woman say, "No, you shot him and dead, officer," in a more casual way. That woman, that's an extraordinary person. But in the garage, I see two guys struggling desperately not to kill that guy. They're trying not to kill him. They're going, "I don't want to do this," and by accident it goes on. Now maybe they could be. Maybe they shouldn't be there because it was an accident. They're prone to accidents, whatever. They're trying not to kill the guy. If you're trying to kill the guy, you shoot a fucking guy. They're making it sound like they executed that kid. They were trying not to kill. I've been arrested 20 times, and that thing stopped resisting. You're getting cuffed, and then the other cop is trying to push back on your arm, and one cop doesn't realize that you are not resisting. And so what happens is a lot of confusion, and nobody wants someone to die in that point. In the old days, a lot of cops did execute people. That's not what you see on that tape.
Yeah.
They were trying to not have that happen.
You know, we were taught respect for cops.
Yeah, listen.
Look,
Me too. I know.
I was always taught respect for cops, irrespective of what I was thinking,
Sure.
or if I felt I was unjustly stopped or harassed, because that's happened to me. I look like the bad guy. Some guy could stop, pull over, and
Well,
say,
there's that too. Absolutely.
There's that,
You
you
could
know?
be Italian. You could be anything.
whatever it is,
Yeah.
and I've gotten. But I have to. I got to get the
I'm sorry.
Oyster
Oh, yeah,
Bay.
you know, I got
I
lost
could-
in you're eloquent.